Orange County Fire Rescue.
6600 Sea Harbor Drive. SeaWorld Stadium.
Okay.
We actually have a trainer in the water with one of our whales. The whale that they're not supposed to be in the water with.
Okay. We'll get somebody en route.
Okay, through gate number 3 to Shamu Stadium.
Gate 3. Orange County Sheriff's Office.
We need SO to respond for a dead person at SeaWorld. A whale has eaten one of the trainers.
A whale ate one of the trainers?
That's correct.
You believe.
My parents first brought me to a SeaWorld park when I was very young. From that point forward, I was hooked. It meant everything to me because, I'd never wanted anything more.
I remember, being probably in first or second grade, watching National Geographic specials or Mutual of Omaha specials and seeing whales and seeing dolphins. And, as a little kid, just being really incredibly inspired by it. I never went to SeaWorld. I grew up in New York, so I went to the Bronx Zoo.
Grew up on a lake with horses. We'd swim the horses.
I grew up around the ocean.
I came from the middle of the country in Flatland, Kansas.
I'm from Virginia. Traveled down, did the theme park thing in Orlando when I was 17. And saw the night show at Shamu Stadium. Very emotional, popular music. And I was just, I was very driven to want to do that.
Then I saw what the trainers did, and I said, that's what I want to do.
One of the trainers there, he goes, what are you doing out there? You should be a trainer. I go, I don't know how to train animals. I've never trained animals in my life.
How do you prepare yourself for an encounter with an 8,000-pound Orcinus orca?
I always thought you needed like a master's degree in marine biology to be a trainer.
It takes years of study and experience to meet the strict requirements necessary to interact in the water with Shamu.
Come to find out, it really is more about your personality and how good you can swim.
I went and tried out, got the job right away. And I was like, yeah, I was so excited, I was so excited.
I really wanted to be there. I really wanted to do the job. I couldn't wait to get in the water with the animals. I really was proud of being a SeaWorld trainer. I thought this was the most amazing job.
I showed up there on my first day, not really knowing what to expect. I was told to put on a wetsuit and get in the water. Hi, Mom! Oh, I was scared out of my wits.
First of all, I put my wetsuit on backwards because I was raised on in a farm in Virginia. My first thought and memory of that time was that dolphins are a lot bigger than they look when you get in the water next to them.
Well, I watched this Sea Lion and Otter show, and this guy, Mike Morocco, he comes out during the show with a dress on as Dorothy, the alter ego of Dorothy, in a dress with a sea lion, the coward sea lion, right? And he's walking along with this little basket, and I go, I will never, ever do that, 2 months later, hi, I'm Dorothy. Walking out on stage with the sea lion.
I was overwhelmed, and I was so excited. I mean, just seeing a killer whale is breathtaking.
I was just in awe. It's shocking to see how large they are and how beautiful they are.
Being, in the presence of the killer whales was just inspiring and amazing. And I remember seeing them for the first time, just not being able to believe how huge they were. You're there because you want to train killer whales, and that's your goal. I didn't know it was going to happen, so I wasn't expecting it. And one day they say, okay, Sam, you're ready to go.
Come on, you got it?
You're going to stand on the whale. You're going to dive off the whale. The whale's going to swim under you and pick you up again. And then you're going to do a perimeter ride around the pool.
Good. Keep moving. Right at full flight out.
They just told me to go do it, and I did it. Wow, I just rode a killer whale.
When you look into their eyes, you know somebody is home. Somebody's looking back. You form a very personal relationship with your animal.
There's something absolutely amazing about working with an animal. You are a team, and you build a relationship together, and you both understand the goal, and you help each other.
I've been with this whale since I was 18 years old, and I've seen her have all 4 of her babies. We've grown up together. Huh.
That's the joy I got out of it, is a relationship like I've never had.
Bro, I have to know, are you nervous?
I'm scared. No. Nice hair, Jeff. Did you see anything? Projections for the future of Jeff Fentry.
Jeff Fentry is going to go over there. He's going to shine. You're going to notice all
Don? Oh, that's Don. Wow.
Given her, he's going to be my supervisor one day. There you go.
I knew Dawn when she was new. She was a great person to work with, and she obviously blossomed into one of SeaWorld's best trainers.
This is Don Brancho. Don is the senior trainer here at Shamu Stadium.
I guess you could say I kind of knew Dawn in a past life.
It's a tough job, isn't it?
Yeah, we really do go through a lot of physical exertion. You can see in the show, we do a lot of deep water work, breath holds, very high energy behaviors with the animals. Obviously, they're giving out a lot of energy too, but we're working together and having a lot of fun as well.
She's beautiful, she's blonde, she's athletic, she's friendly. You know, everybody loves Dawn.
And I mean this so sincerely. Of watching you perform yesterday, you're amazing. Thank you. You really are.
She captured what it means to be a SeaWorld trainer. She had so much experience that it made me realize what happened to her really could have happened to anyone.
This is Detective Rivera with the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Today's date is February 24th, 2010. The time is 4:16. In the room with me right now is Thomas George Tobin. Is that correct?
Correct.
Did you see any blood in the water or anything like that?
Well, that's part of it. She was scalped and there was no blood.
Okay.
So pretty much we knew then that the heart wasn't beating.
Once they were able to pull her away, how did he let go of the...
He didn't.
He never let go of the...
The arm?
The arm.
He swallowed it.
He swallowed it? So the arm is nowhere...
Right.
OSHA, on behalf of the federal government, is basically suggesting that swimming with orcas is inherently dangerous and that you can't completely predict the outcome when you enter the water or enter their environment.
That's the crux of the OSHA case. Stay out of proximity with the animals and you won't get killed.
It will have a ripple effect through the whole industry. This was national headline news.
SeaWorld's whale performances may never be the same.
Right now, the theme park is arguing in court to keep whale trainers in the water, something OSHA says is extremely dangerous.
These are wild animals, and they are unpredictable because we don't speak whale. We don't speak whale, we don't speak tiger, we don't speak monkey.
And tempers flared between the two sides today when OSHA's attorney suggested that SeaWorld only made changes after trainer Don Brancho's death outraged the public.
OSHA doesn't want the trainers going back in the water without a physical barrier between them and the whales.
Being in close proximity to these top predators is too dangerous.
They won't then be getting in the water, riding on the whales, things like that.
If you were in a bathtub for 25 years, don't you think you'd get a little irritated, aggravated, maybe a little psychotic?
The situation with Don Brancho, it didn't just happen. It's not a singular event. You have to go back over 20 years to understand this.
It was a really exciting thing to do, and so everybody wanted to do it.
What were they telling you were going to do?
Capture orcas.
The
They had aircraft, they had spotters, they had speedboats, they had bombs they were throwing in the water. They were lighting their bombs with acetylene torches in their boats and throwing them as fast as they could to herd the whales into coves. But the orcas had been caught before, and they knew what was going on, and they knew their young ones would be taken from them. So the adults without young went east into cul-de-sac, and the boats followed them, thinking they were all going that way, while the mothers with babies went north. But the capture teams had aircraft, and they have to come up for air eventually, and when they did, the capture teams alerted the boats and said, oh no, they're going north, the ones with babies. So the boats, the speedboats, caught them there and herded them in. And then they had fishing boats with seine nets that they would stretch across so none could leave, and then they could just pick out the young ones.
We are only after the little ones. And a little one is, you know, a big animal still, but I was told because of shipping costs, that's why they only take the little ones.
They had the young ones that they wanted in the corrals, so they dropped the seine nets, and all the others could have left, but they stayed.
We're there trying to get the young orca into stretcher, and the whole family is out here 25 yards away maybe in a big line, and they're communicating back and forth. Well, you understand then what you're doing, you know. I lost it. I mean, I started crying. I didn't stop working, but I you know, just couldn't handle it. And just like kidnapping a little kid away from her mother. Everybody's watching, what can you do? It's the worst thing I can think of, you know, I can't think of anything worse than that. Now, this really sounds bad, but when the whole hunt was over, there were 3 dead whales in the net. And so they had Peter and Brian and I cut the whales open, fill them with rocks, put anchors on their tail, and sink them. Well, really, I didn't even think about it being illegal at that point. I thought it was a PR thing.
They were finally ejected from the state of Washington by a court order in 1976. It was SeaWorld by name that was told, do not come back to Washington to capture whales. Without missing a beat, they went from Washington to Iceland and began capturing there.
I've been part of a revolution to change of presidents in Central and South America, and seen some things that it's hard to believe, but this is the worst thing that I've ever done, is hunt that whale.
Sealand has been a part of Victoria for over 20 years. We specialize in the care and display of killer whales.